All right, Devin. Last segment of the show today, we're going to talk about the games we are most excited about from Board Game Geek's giant list of all of the games that are at the Essen convention in Germany. I think it's actually called SPIEL in Essen, Germany, or something like that. Anyways, the game has, the list on Board Game Geek has hundreds and hundreds of games on it. Each of us chose 5, just as like a quick precursor. I didn't choose any games that I either already have, like we talked about Cities and Bomb Busters, which I have right here on the table next to me already earlier in the show. So I don't have them on the list, even though I was kind of excited about them. Andromeda's Edge was pretty high on the list. I have it behind me, so I didn't put that on. And Arcs should be delivering to me pretty soon, so I didn't put that on. And I didn't put any games on my list that come out next year. So I only did games that are being showcased at Essen and actually come out this year. I didn't tell you those restrictions beforehand, so
good, because I didn't follow them.
So yours don't have to follow that at all. If, for example, Speakeasy is one of my most anticipated games from Vital Lacerda, but it doesn't come out till next year. So that one I didn't put on my list either. And then just one more little note. I try not to spend too much time like watching videos and reading about future games, because there's just so many that are already out or that I already have that I can't fill my brain with too much stuff for things that I don't even have yet. So some of these games, like, I know I'm excited about, but I really almost know nothing about them. So we're going to talk about these games for like just a very short few seconds is all. Maybe a minute if we really know, but I think this will go pretty quickly. So Devin, we're just going to go back and forth, starting with our number 5, then obviously 4, 3, 2, and 1. And by the end, we'll have 10 games here that we're most excited about. I'm pretty pumped to see yours, because you have purposely kept yours hidden from me, so I have no idea what you have picked here. I'm really excied to see like Barbie's first drafting game.
They're all for 5-year-olds.
that would be pretty great.
All right, well, I will start. I don't know if you've looked through the whole list. There was a lot in there, over 1,000. I
didn't look at everything.
There's a ton. But my first one, I don't even know how to pronounce this, is Paella Park.
Wow.
Very unique looking game. I wrote some notes down here. Hand management and strategic grouping. Sounds like something I would like.
You like hand management with cards. So
yes, I like to combine cards and abilities to try to master basically the mathematics of an ability to take you out. Super weird art. I like the art style.
Yeah.
It's Tim Burton-ish. I don't know how else to explain the art, but it looks cool. It's got little meeples as well. Fun things. There's a little bit of push your luck in this. I saw that as well.
I know.
That. Yeah. I know you don't love that mechanic, or maybe I'm wrong.
I do in some instances. If it's not too brutal, if the game's short, I generally like it more. If it's like a big complex game and then there's something I just got unlucky about and I lost 10 points, I think that's a bad feeling in a bigger, heavier.
Look at this little top. Bet you never seen that before.
I haven't. And that bald guy in front of it, that's pretty hardcore.
What a cool guy.
He pointing at a snail and a slug?
Yeah, I don't know too much about this. It looks like this is in a different language, that photo. But I loved the art. Cool aesthetic. And from what I saw, people got their hands on it. I think this was 2023 and has a pretty dang high review score of, at least on this site, an 85 of 100.
Yeah.
And that makes me hopeful. So that's why I picked Paella Park, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, it looks like you're at an amusement park and you're trying to pack in as much fun as you can in 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have never heard of this one.
If the game takes 8 hours, I'm not excited for it. I don't want to do that.
No. The game takes 60 minutes. It must be like 8. You must like assign something to 8 sections on like your player board or something. that would represent those 8 hours. Yeah, I don't know anything about this one. Never heard of it. Never heard of Zombie Paella, the name of the publisher. I'm gonna click on this designer and just see if he's made anything else I know of. Nope, he's in Barcelona. So I don't know. Maybe it came out there last year and it's just hitting other markets now. So very unique pick, Devin.
Oh yeah,
that was very cool. All right, my number 5 is also a game that came out in a different market last year. It's called Video Game Champion, and I think it came out in like Brazil or something last year. And so the Dice Tower actually has a review of it from like not 6 months, like a year or maybe 18 months ago. But it's just barely coming to, I think, America and other markets now. So I'm pretty pumped about this one. It's all about being a little kid and trying to rent and play and beat video games with kind of this old school video game art. They're all fake video game names, but they look clearly influenced by like Castlevania and other video games. So there's these big video game cards, and then you do a lot of different things. You're taking these tiles that have like a ABXY, like 4 set of buttons on them that are different colors and different strengths. And then you use those in order to go to, I think you can do different actions like ask your mom for money so that you can go to the video store and rent new games. And then you can, depending on which sets of those tiles you have, you can play the game. Or if you have every tile you need, you can beat the game. And if you beat the game, then you'll score the points for them. And then you can get like strategy guides. And if you get those, then they will help you to beat games faster. So just a really cool theme, in my opinion. It seems pretty light, like not too complex, probably around like a 2 or 2.5 max would be my guess on the heaviness scale. But I like the theme so much. Seems like a fun theme that we don't see a lot, kind of the blockbuster video game era. Excuse me. So that's Video Game Champion. I think it was called O Bom de Video Game in Brazil or wherever it came out first. So that's my number 5.
Do you think they've ever made a video game that's all about playing board games? Besides Tabletop Simulator, that doesn't count.
I bet they have. I feel like there are video games about everything.
All right, so my number 4 or second one is going to be Chance for the Old Ones. Have you heard of this?
Okay, I have.
Okay, so once again, I got caught up on the aesthetic. I was like, oh, shoot. We got the Kraken or Thulu from Bloodborne. I don't know where Thulu comes from. But fun miniatures. I do like that. It comes from what?
I think it was an author from a long time ago. His name was H.P. Lovecraft, and he did a lot of like, they call it Lovecraftian horror now because he kind of invented this genre of like weird psychological horror with like demon creatures like Cthulhu and others like that.
Crazy. I don't know how you know stuff. Anyways, this is like a fantasy horror game. This also had the effect of Radlands, where you get to pick your deck before you start. I was like, that's kind of cool, unless it's super complex, like you were saying, going through a deck of 400 cards and it takes 2 hours before you begin. I don't know. But super cool miniatures. Yeah. And one other thing that I thought was cool, besides the aesthetic and those facts, was that you can play it solo. And
yep,
I don't know how often you play board games solo, but seemed cool to me.
I do fairly often, actually. Yeah, it looks like 1 to 4 players. On Board Game Geek, they say it's best at 4. 1 to 1.5 hours. And it's a worker placement game, so you're putting out kind of your big Cthulhu mini somewhere on the board in order to do stuff. And then, building a deck of cards. I feel like I do remember seeing this one on crowdfunding a while ago, so cool that it's hopefully coming out to retail. I haven't heard of this or maybe it's just delivering to backers, but Cthulhu Project. Yeah, they have some other Cthulhu games too. Anyways, Yeah, that's a good one. I like Cthulhu. He's a weird looking dude.
Very.
And yeah, those is it Bloodborne or
he's
I feel
in the
like the Demon
Bloodborne
Souls.
or wait. No, that's amygdala. Um
Yeah,
something.
amygdala. I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know. It's not in
I
Bloodborne. Forget
remember
about it.
in the Demon Souls remake when we played that, there were those guys in that like jail area that had like the little bells.
Yeah.
And if they would like squat and like walk weird around corners and stuff.
That area was so annoying.
And I think they kind of looked like Cthulhu as well. But yeah, that area was annoying. All right, my number 4 is an expansion for a game I really love. It's the White Castle, and this is the Matcha expansion. So I just talked about dice drafting a few minutes ago in the show, and we were talking about, I don't remember, a different game in crowdfunding right now. This is one of my favorite dice drafting games, the White Castle. You take a die from one of the bridges. In the base game, there are 3 bridges, I think white, black, and red. This Matcha expansion adds a board at the bottom of the board and adds a 4th bridge, a green one. And it's all about like making tea. I haven't watched much else about it. In the base game, you have 9 turns in the entire game. So it's like a very like efficiency puzzle. Like I only have 9 turns. I got to do as good as I can with my 9 turns. And I want to combo this turn into like an extra action and this into an extra thing. The expansion here adds, since it adds that 4th bridge, everyone gets 12 turns instead of 9. So I hope that it doesn't make the game like much longer, because I think that's one of the White Castle strengths, is that it's pretty short for a pretty thinky, puzzly Euro game. So yeah, very excited about that one. I watched kind of an unboxing video, and I don't think there's any way that you'll be able to fit that content in the base game box, which is a bit of a bummer, because I don't like having to store and open 2 boxes when I get a game out. But maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, because that would be a great surprise. But I think there are a couple new like meeples you control. Like it kind of looks like a dude with a fan over there. I'm not sure, because you have your gardeners and your samurai and your courtiers in the base game. And I don't know what that guy is. He kind of looks like a sumo dude, but I don't think he is. Yeah. He's probably an expert of tea. But
probably.
Yeah, very excited about that one. I think the entire world's excited about that one. I think that one was number 2 when you filtered or sorted that list by most thumbs. So yeah, White Castle Matcha, that one's going to be big.
I'm excited just for the dice. I like the like lime, like the Shrek green and like the butter colored dice. Really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should play this game with me. It's great. I think you'd like it.
Awesome. Well, my number 3, I wasn't sure I was going to pick this one, but I was like, I'm going to, for a few reasons. It's called Let's Go to Japan.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's a very popular game right now.
Oh, is it? Okay, perfect. I'm killing it. So, a couple things about this. I will mention, I do like card games. We figured that out in recent times. I don't really know if this is going to be the type of card game that I would like, but I think the artwork is so cool. Look at that. I think it's
very cool.
Yeah, way cool. Simultaneous turns. I noted that as well. So you can kind of do things when other players are doing them, which is kind of a goated strat. So you're not just sitting there going, "Oh, he wasn't ready for his turn." You know, that type of thing. You're basically planning the perfect trip to Japan. It's a bit of an easier game. Super cool looking. That's all I know about it. And that's why it's number 3 for me.
Yeah, you explained it really well. Like you said, you're kind of making your itinerary for, I think, the week. It might be 6 or 7 days that you're planning for. And you can see the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday there, and you'll be putting cards in those columns. So yeah, very popular game right now. I haven't played this one yet, but it was at a game night I went to a couple of months ago. They had it, and I unfortunately was put on a different game, but that game was Revive, and I really loved that. That was my first time playing Revive, so it wasn't all bad, but I was a little bummed I didn't get to the Let's Go to Japan table. Yeah, good choice. That one is, I'm very excited to try it too. All right, my number 3 is really number 3 for no other reason than I like games from Czech Games Edition, and the Shut Up and Sit Down podcast talked about it recently, and it sounds really cool. So this is SETI, or Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. And I don't know much about the game. at least how it plays, other than what they said in the podcast. A little weird to plug another podcast in your own podcast, but they're so wonderful. I don't feel bad about promoting them at all. But in this game, you are searching for extraterrestrial life, and you find it at certain points, and there are all kinds of different like aliens that you may encounter, and they said it's very different depending on which ones are discovered in the game. It's a bit of a like more meaty, thinky Euro game. You can notice just by how many pieces are out like around all of those planets. You got like the little discs and then the ones that look like satellites. There is like a big sun like piece in the middle, and I just want to squish it. I don't even know if it's squishy.
I also want to
what does that look like
squish
it's
it.
made of? It's probably just hard plastic.
This is all rotating, isn't it?
Yeah, the board does rotate,
Crazy.
Which is really cool. So I think this one, probably because of that podcast a lot and them hyping it up recently, this one was number one if you filtered by likes. So look at me, I'm a big shill. I only like what the people like with number 1 and number 2.
Unreal, pal.
On my list. But I like kind of more meaty, medium to medium heavy games, and I do feel like that is what Board Game Geek kind of leans towards. So my desires kind of line up with theirs. So anyway, SETI seems pretty cool from the very little I know about it, other than that cool conversation. So that's my number 3.
Okay, my number 2, and I could be completely wrong, because maybe this game's going to be trash, in my opinion, once I played it, if I ever do play it. But it's called Unconscious Mind. The reason I looked at it was because it seemed psychological. I'm a big fan of mastering the mind. I really am. It's a big thing in my life. My hesitation with this game is it ranks above a 4 on a difficulty level, which is outrageous, and I don't know if I have the brain power to do it.
You do.
Maybe. But it has fun potion pieces. I noticed that. I don't know if they're using them. Let's see. Look at those. Amazing. Yeah. That one's got a cork in the top. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know if those are just aesthetics for the picture. Maybe they were in a deluxe version. Yeah, this game has also been very big. Oh, they do use it right there on the board.
Oh, nice.
Good call out.
Yeah. The only other thing I saw about it was strategic, what do they call it? Drafting. Strategic drafting to get an advantage is what I wrote down. And I was like, I like strategy. But once I saw the complexity level, I was a little bit turned away. Sometimes I like to learn a bit, but I don't need to learn every bit. You know what I'm saying? Look at these little cute meeples. Amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a very pretty game. So yeah, open drafting, end game bonuses, contracts. Yeah, and plus 5 more mechanisms. This game is one of the designers is Johnny Pack. And it looks like there's 4 designers on this game. And I've liked some of his games before. I had Coloma for a while, which was one of his that had this cool like Western theme and this dial that magneted to the board and then would rotate, it was a cool game. I did end up selling it, but yeah, that one's been pretty hot as well. People are very pumped about that one. So I think that's a great pick. Art by Andrew Bosley and Vincent Dutray and Yoma. I don't know who Yoma is, but Andrew Bosley and Vincent Dutray are probably like the 2 like most premium like board game artists. So yeah, this game's gonna be huge. And yeah, very, very heavy, complex game, but good pick, Devin. All right, my number 2, I know very little about. I've purposely been trying not to read like anything about it, but it's from I have a few favorite designers, and one of them is Vladimir Suki, I think is how his name's pronounced. And this is his latest game. Some of my favorite games of his are Pulsar 2849 and Praga Caput Regni. I think are my 2 favorites. And I also have Woodcraft and Evacuation. So I have a bunch of his games.
Look at this.
Been able to play those ones yet.
SETI is also in this photo. That was your 3rd pick.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So this is another like kind of complex Euro game. I don't know much about it. It has these cool camel pieces, and you put little cardboard tokens. You slot them in the camel, I think, to like dictate what the camel is carrying or something.
And
you're building out canals. And yeah, you see those little slots.
Oh yeah, the little red one right here.
Kind of silly.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't even think the game like visually looks that amazing. It's pretty like dry Euro. Like it's even in the desert. So I mean, the theme isn't what's exciting to me about it. I just really like his game. So that one's kind of on blind faith a little bit there, but that's Rasafa, my number 2, because it has Suki in the on the front of the box.
There weren't many photos for that game, sadly. I wanted to pull up more, but there was only 3.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, what do you think my first pick is going to be? Do you have any idea?
I don't. The only thing you told me was that it didn't match any of my 5. So I mean, let me scroll really quick and just maybe in like 5 seconds I can find it, but probably not. I click on the preview list and filter it by thumbs really fast. Okay, we already went over SETI. I don't think it's going to be Civolution or... I mean, maybe ARCs.
It is not ARCs, no.
Okay. I almost chose Black Forest. Full spoiler, that's not mine. Rock Hard.
Nope.
Maybe.
Is that the guitar one?
Yeah. That one's very popular right now. Phoenix New Horizon I thought looked pretty cool. Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth.
I didn't see that. How did I miss it?
Oh, that's okay. I have that one pre-ordered, so I didn't put that one on either. But yeah, I don't know. So let me scroll for one more second, and my choice would be Kelp.
It is not Kelp, and I don't know if morbid is the right term for this game, but this is another fantasy / horror game.
Inferno. Okay.
It's called Inferno. First time seeing it ever. But basically, you're helping souls find their circle in hell. It's I don't know. I feel like some people wouldn't play the game for that reason, but I am a huge horror buff. I like this aesthetic so much. It's evil. It's interesting to me. And I've seen such cool pictures of the play pieces. Like, look at these little skulls.
Oh, wow. Those skulls are cool.
Yeah,
I haven't
super
seen
cool.
Pictures of this game.
I saw, like, look at this playboard. Just insane. Castlevania-ish. Super, super fantasy. Might be too fantasy for some, but I thought it looked, honestly.
Yeah, no, this is interesting. When I saw the cover, because it was also fairly high on the list, I was like, that's got to be one of those big, like, miniatures games that, you know, is a dungeon crawl and you're fighting monsters or whatever. But this looks very much like a Euro game. Which is a lot more up my alley. Yeah, the theme is very cool. With each death, so it looks like it's about Dante and the Divine Comedy, so Dante's Inferno kind of stuff.
Yes, exactly. Like there's Medusa right there. I don't know if it's going to be like a higher tier or a more expensive version of the game, but I saw these super cool coins. I don't know if anybody's going to have a photo of them. I'm trying to find one, but they looked way cool. And that also got my attention. I actually didn't look into the mechanics of this game. I don't know if you're drafting cards. I don't know if there's cards involved, to be honest, but
looks like multi-use cards. I love that. Grid movement, endgame bonuses, worker placement. I love worker placement, even though I do think it's used a little too often. But yeah, crazy cool board.
Wait for it. Did we find some? No, those are paper or cardboard. Dang it. I don't know.
They were metal ones?
Yeah, they looked super, super sweet. And like there were these cool carrying cases you could get with them that were one team's was like red and one team's was white, and it looked amazing. But that is gonna be my number 1 poll because I like weird things.
Oh, I think it looks cool. I'm suddenly kind of interested in learning more about this game because it looks like, just from the board and like the pieces, like it's a Euro game, and so that makes me a lot more interested. Cool, good picks, Devin. Those were fun. My last one is called, I don't know how to pronounce this, Daitoshi, I think.
What a cool name.
I've talked about, in this episode, I've talked about lots of games from Devir. They're one of my favorite publishers right now. The White Castle is one of their games. What other game of theirs did I talk about today? I mean, other games that were on that list were Sand. I have Sand right. Whoa, what direction am I going? Right here, behind me. And Bamboo, and I just got Salt and Sea. Oh, you can see Salt and Sea, White Castle, and Bamboo are all right there. Really love their games. This game is even maybe a step more complex than those. And Danny Garcia is kind of becoming one of my favorite designers as well. I got Arborea recently, which is a game he designed and really loved it. So just kind of based on those two things alone, that it's a Devir game in their medium to medium complex line that was designed by Danny Garcia. I'm very pumped about it. And it kind of has this weird circle-shaped board. With between this one and SETI, you'd think I maybe love circle-shaped boards, but kind of has this variable setup where you'll place these tile buildings around it. And I don't think they necessarily like rotate, but and yeah, I don't even really know anything about how the game plays, to be honest, other than it says that you're trying to harness the power of steam. So you must be going to these different locations. I like Devir's kind of to use steam to get points and stuff. Devir makes really unique like wooden pieces. I liked the silkworms in sand, and I can't tell what that big purple and green piece are.
I like this yellow and black meeple. Just the detail of it is very unique.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
I agree. It looks like it's a worker placement game with a modular board. Those are the two mechanisms listed here. The Board Game Geek page doesn't have a lot on it, so it seems like this is also a thing I like about Devir, that they don't generally crowdfund their games. It's just, yeah, we believe in this, we're publishing it, and here it's out. And then it's just kind of like a surprise, instead of this one being like, oh, it was on Kickstarter a year ago, and so everybody kind of knows what it is. So I like that surprise factor to them too, which is maybe a weird thing to be excited about, but yeah, very pumped for Daitoshi. Use the power of steam to do business and expand your factory in the big city. I think the art's really cool too. Cool board. I don't even fully know what the player board looks like, but yeah, very excited for this one. I've been very close with my trigger finger to pre-ordering it, and it probably will happen here in the next few days, just after I do a little more research and reading. But anyways, that is going to be my number one.
Fun fact, like I said, a lot that goes with the name of this game. It just reminded me of I don't even know why I need to say it. I really don't, but Ready Player One, there's two characters named Daito and Sho. Or Daito and Shoto. Funny. And it almost did it. Daitoshi. It could have been Daito Sho.
And She.
And it would have been perfect. I don't know why it reminded me of that.
Funny.
But...
Oh, it's a deep pull. I've actually never seen that movie, but I know you enjoy it.
What?
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it.
You've got to watch that. Oh my gosh.
I feel like I'm behind on movies, but yeah. Anyways, Daitoshi is my number one. Like I said at the top, I don't even know very much about these games at this point, and Devin didn't either, but we did some digging through that list, and these were the ones that stood out to us. So anyways, thanks for watching this video and checking out our list here of games that we're pumped about that are releasing soon from Essen Spiel.